So,
well, we have big news out of the world of college football, as the College Football Playoff Committee has voted unanimously, which they needed to do, to approve the 5-7 model for the College Football Playoff, expanding this year to 12 teams. Remember, this was a big bone of contention because of the fact that when they approved the 12-team playoff, they said we're going to go 6-6. So is your top 6 highest ranked conference champions and then 6 at-large bids. Well, the Pac-12 dissolves, and everybody's like, well, we should probably go to 5-7, right? 5 conference champions, 5 highest ranked conference champs, and then 7 at-large bids. Oregon State, and namely Washington State's president Kirk Schultz, were the ones holding it up, and rightfully so. Like they should hold it hostage in any negotiations moving forward because they don't want to be left behind. But what they did today was they approved a 5-7 model, and Oregon State and Washington State were like hanging on to the fact that, hey, we'll stay at 6-6 here, and we'll see where the dust settles. Well, the College Football Playoff was like, well, you guys don't even qualify as a conference because you only have 2 teams.
Yeah, it turns out the math on that is not mathing very hard.
So you wouldn't be able to go anyways. And then this is from Dennis Dodd, where he is reporting that Oregon State and Washington State received a few $1 million extra in the next 2 years in order to kind of get this vote. And they said, hey, over the next 2 years, you will be able to get the College Football Playoff payouts, which is around $5 to $6 million per school, which is good money to have. Sure. But everybody agreed on that. That got the vote. They're not hanging anything up. And it actually kind of behooves them now that they're saying you need 8 teams to be a conference champ. See Notre Dame. Notre Dame can't do it either. So you wouldn't be in that the 5 or 6 highest ranked conference champs either. Mm-hmm. So it makes a ton of sense moving forward for Oregon State and Washington State.
Yeah, it was. Were they going to contest it? Was, I think, the kind of the question. But the more you looked at it, I was like, I don't think they can.
But they wanted extra money. They got it. Yeah. And that's exactly why you do this. But
now you try to string it out for the 2 years until you get into the new deal. And if you're lucky, you land in a conference.
And you can start roping other teams in, hopefully.
But you need the money behind you to progress the program to have an opportunity to get pulled into a conference.
That's right.
So it's a chicken or the egg kind of situation, but they solved it by saying it's the egg.
And this is another reminder, though, with the way that Oregon State and Washington State were told, like, 2-team conference, you got to have 8 to be recognized as a FBS conference. Mm-hmm.
They bring additional value.
Moving forward, Notre Dame, they will not get a bye.
No.
Ever.
Dun, dun, dun,
in the 12-team playoff. Because they're an independent. Mm-hmm. And so no matter what, no matter how well they do in their hybrid ACC schedule, they will never be considered a conference champion. So even if they're ranked number 1 by the College Football Playoff Committee, they'll be the 5 seed and not be one of the 4 teams that gets a bye.
And how much do you think that's going to make them want to join a conference?
You better start thinking about it.
They're Big Ten bound.
Maybe.
I know the SEC might reach up in there to try to steal from Big Ten country, but
or they go and they're the calming force of ACC realignment. When Florida State leaves, they say, "Okay, we can now have our
tying yourself
seat
to the
at the
ACC
table."
Sounds like a bad idea, though.
They've already done it.
Yeah, you're right. They already have it, at least tangentially.
Yeah, but they can never get a first round bye, so they could host a whole heck of a lot of games, which I think is going to be really cool. But now College Football Playoff has got their format moving forward, and this is what we can expect moving forward. Well, until maybe the ACC dissolves, and then it'll be 4+8 instead.
Which that sounds about right.
Hey, coming out of these meetings, though, too, is the Big Ten and SEC. Apparently, they're squeezing, saying we want bigger pieces of the pie. We want more.
I mean,
more. And
let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the national title game. What conferences did they come from?
Look at the entire Final Four this year.
As I should say, at the championship game, the Final Four.
The entire Final Four is from the Big Ten and SEC moving forward.
So, and I would expect that it's going to be that way with the exception of some upstart years.
What I enjoy, though, is that although it will, make no mistake, this will be Big Ten and SEC dominated. Mm-hmm. there is an opportunity for a team like I just go back to that Stanford team that won the Rose Bowl or Orange Bowl rather with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, there's those opportunities that'll pop up.
They were playing like the best team in all of college football at the end of the year. And they did not get a seat at a 2-team playoff. And we have teams that do this, but they don't get a seat at a 4-team playoff. See Florida State.
Look, we had TCU a year ago, which everybody's like, oh, they got killed in the championship game. Guess what they did the week before? That Michigan team that was in the national title this year, they stunted on.
Beat them.
And that's the thing is like the one thing I love about college is that the best team doesn't always win. It's the best team that day.
And here's the thing. I wonder though, if you are like a UW fan and looking at the way that a 12-team playoff, you have to play one more extra game. The level that Michael Penix was beat up in those high leverage games, it would have had to go from conference championship game into that. They would have had a first round bye, so they have a week off, but then you have the quarterfinal, semifinal, final. And that would have been, it's a war of attrition. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see which teams are the deepest are the ones that are going to win it. And it's lightning in a bottle. You may strike in that first week, but those teams that are the deepest are going to be able to make these deep runs.
But I still think you might have an NCAA tournament run.
Dude, it'd be awesome.
Every year you're going to have like one team where you're going to get, oh, God. Like, it's just not going to be chalky.
Wins a couple games and throws everything out.
But it throws the entire bracket off.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
And I'm here for hosting games on sites. It's going to be so fun.
We want more volatility. We do. It's just that simple.
Yeah. But the big thing for the Beavs and the Cougs, you got an extra little change in your pocket there. $5 to $6 million each year coming out of the next 2 years for the college football playoff. That helps you survive as you try to rebuild the Pac-12 conference.